Hi, welcome back to the Scent Advocate. Tonight I'm talking about big iris fragrances from my collection. I've been holding off on doing this one because I really didn't know where to start or where to stop. So I'm sticking to iris. Now, that doesn't mean iris is the only note in these fragrances, but it is definitely the featured note. In fact, I think in a lot of these, iris or some form of it is in the title or the name of the fragrance. So I'm sticking with that. I'm not going with fragrances that are violet forward or other purple floral forward because I think I have too many. So what I'd like to do is maybe do a part 2 where it's part of a purple floral series, I guess, but starting off with iris, and that includes, of course, orris root. So that's where I'm going tonight. Tonight's beverage, coffee, what else, right? Wonderful stuff. All right. I have a few to get through, so this may be a little bit longer, but stick around to the end for the latest 2 that I added to my collection. One I said I would not add. I got right on this channel and told you I wouldn't do it because, well, I had my reasons. I'll get into that when I talk about the fragrance, but it was a gift. So it is now part of my collection, and I am so grateful because I absolutely love it and I definitely wanted it. And the other is probably the most unconventional iris that I have in my collection. So stick around to the end for those 2. All right, let's jump right in. The first I'll talk about is Insolence by Guerlain. This is a 75 ml EDP. I think the EDT is very popular, and I haven't smelled the EDT, just the EDP. And this goes for $155, and the EDP is a 2021 release, but something tells me this fragrance has been around longer than that. So let me know in the comments if you know one way or the other. The notes in this are violet, wild strawberry, orange blossom, iris of course, vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. So this is a very commercially pleasing, fruity iris. I love it. Easy reach, springtime all the way. It's got levity and a prettiness to it. It smells purple for sure. It's youthful and classic at the same time. I think of a young woman out and about in the springtime or early summer, wearing a big floppy hat to shield her from the sun, while drinking sweet tea or eating strawberry ice cream. That's the image I get in my head of this. It's a very feminine leaning fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. Very much a classic idea of iris. Insolence by Guerlain. Moving on, we've got Hiris or Iris. I think maybe the H is silent. And this is by Hermes. This is an EDT. It's 100 ml, and it was released in 1999. It goes for $200. The nose behind this is Olivia Jacobatti. The notes are coriander, carnation, amber, iris, neroli, rose, cedar, almond tree, interesting, honey, and vanilla. This has I just want to make sure I'm smelling the right scent strip. I think I am, because this one always surprises me. It's got almost a chocolate woodiness to it in the dry down. Yeah, that's right. So Yeah, if you can imagine those two notes coming together, a hardwood and a cocoa, not coconut, like a cocoa powder or dark chocolate, not too dark, not bitter in any way, but just a serious chocolate that hasn't been sweetened up to the point of, you know, turning it into pure candy. I think the carnation sets it off a bit, and maybe the coriander too. It could be that almond tree. Honestly, it's the first time I've ever experienced almond tree as a note. I wouldn't say there's almond in there, but there is a toasted nuttiness, and that could be what I'm perceiving. It's very deep. It's a darker iris. In the beginning, I get a fair amount of ambrette, and I feel like that settles into the dark, woody, cocoa-like accord that I get out of this. Very warm, very approachable, but still innocent. You know, unafraid, brave, but still hopelessly innocent, because it is, after all, Iris. And this is a great, great, unusual expression of Iris. I also love the bottle. You could see that through the glass. There's it's an iris, but I think it's like a person, kind of a woman wearing an iris for a dress. Let me just do this again. And it's very unusual, very pretty, very cute, very French. I absolutely love it. This is, to me, very much worth having. It's different. It's a different take. I really love it. Hiris. Let's do James Heeley's Iris de Nuit. I absolutely love this house, and I don't have a whole lot from it because I don't think they have a ton of releases. So, you know, I'm definitely interested in exploring more, but I haven't seen a ton. So maybe I'm just missing it. I think he's out of the UK, and maybe that's a better place to shop for Heeley. Let me know in the comments if you know anything much about this house. So this is an EDP. It's 100 mil. It's a 2005 release, and it goes for $195. The notes in this are white cedar, ambergris, iris, angelica, and ambrette. Yeah, this is iris and ambrette together, and I think they pair up really, really well. It gives it a soft, powdery skin type scent. You know, that skin scent that you find in so many fragrances that have been really popular over the last 5-6 years. It's got that, but niche. It's more serious. I think it's definitely got that commercially pleasing feel to it, but it's more artistic in its presentation. It's hard to explain. I think the ambergris and the angelica give it a bit more of a firm backbone and a bit more strength than some of the other similar fragrances out there that are very what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I guess just commercially pleasing. Not that this isn't, but it's definitely got something more than mainstream. It's got a depth to it. And it makes me think of a classic iris, but like an antique house, okay? Nothing new and no replica could ever do. You know, when you see like these replica farmhouses or replica Victorians, and you just know they're not the same. They're nice, they're beautiful, they're modern, they're easy, but there's just something charming and classic about an original. And that's what I get from this that sets it apart from some of the others out there that are similar in nature. Iris de Nuit by James Heeley. All right, moving on. This one, of course, I really love this, and I'm really not that familiar with all the different ways we can abuse ISOE Super, but this fragrance is one that I absolutely adore, and I know ISOE Super is just all over the place by all different perfume houses out there. I just don't know much about it. I've seen so much in the ether about how it, you know, some criticizing, a lot of criticism of it. But I really enjoy this, and I think that this house, Escentric Molecules, does beautiful things with it. I really do. I don't see anything trivial about it at all. I thoroughly enjoy these fragrances. In fact, I bought one recently and it's on the way. I'll save that for a separate review where I focus maybe on that note, because it's, you know, molecule plus something else. But I just think these are great. I don't know what's going on with other houses that get criticized for the ISOE Super, but I absolutely adore it. So the nose behind this is Gris, and this is an EDT. It's 100 ml. It goes for $185, and it's a 2021 release. Of course, ISOE Super and Iris. Very soft, woody iris. I would wear this to, you know, a work team building event, you know, somewhere where you dress down, but you still want to smell nice, clean, attractive, but not too strong. Something that maybe if you were to exert a little energy, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So I remember one time I had to go to a team building event. I was working for a very, 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 one of the biggest firms in the world. And they had this thing where they had a bunch of leaders get together and we had to work, you know, kind of cross-functionally and build bicycles for charity. And, I remember not being too happy with what I had worn. They said dress business casual, and I was more business than casual. And it was definitely uncomfortable because I had overdressed, as many people there did. But when I smelled this and I thought, gee, where would I wear this? It's got so many possibilities. I thought of that event, and it was an incredibly rewarding event and a lot of fun. But I wish I had dressed a little bit differently. But no matter what, if I'd had this fragrance, I would have worn it. Molecules plus Molecule 1 plus Iris by Escentric Molecules. All right. Next, we've got Pink Iris by Abel. Now, I haven't heard a whole lot about this, and I just, one of those fragrances, I don't know why. I fell in love with this right away. This is 50 ml. It's a 2019 release. It goes for $180, and it's an EDP. The nose behind this is Isaac Sinclair. The notes are raspberry, Szechuan pepper, basil, orris, rose, jasmine, musk, and vanilla. This is bright, it's energetic, it's not too powdery. Yeah, it's got almost a tea accord, and I think that comes from the green basil, which I think can sometimes lean green tea, sometimes a little minty, but in this case I get a tea accord out of it, and I think that's a combination of the basil and the raspberry now that I'm smelling it again. Yeah, that's what's, if you dissect it, that's exactly what's going on. It's beautiful. It's non-traditional for iris. Very pretty, a fruity iris. It's I think youthful, uplifting, definitely feminine leaning, whereas these two I think are more neutral, more unisex. Same with this one. but this one is more feminine, and but unisex. It's just leaning feminine, but very pretty, bright take, a tea-like or herbal iris. Beautiful stuff. Pink Iris by Abel. All right, moving on. We've got, oh, I love, love, love this one. It is so great. This Orrisilla by Ibrahim Fuhaid. This is a 50 ml parfum. There we go. 50 ml parfum. And it goes for $145, and it is a 2023 release. So this is orris root, red berries, mandarin orange, powdery notes, mimosa, amber, vanilla, cocoa pod, musk, Virginia cedar, and patchouli. Yeah, wow. This is one of the best orris fragrances I've ever experienced. And orris, in case you're not familiar, is the root of iris. It's a stunner. And it's powdery, but it's got a heaviness to it. So imagine a rice powder or rice flour as compared to a wheat flour, or maybe even a talcum powder. You know how those are very heavy, maybe even a little bit oily of a feel to them. Even though they're powder, they've got something thick and heavy to them. That's what orris is to me compared to, you know, more powdery iris flower note. And so this has that. I think the cocoa pod gives it that wonderful darkness. The cedar gives it a almost a hint of a camphoric resin, a sharpness, and the patchouli is very present. It's a very rich, expressive, cold weather orris. Stunning, stunning stuff. I haven't heard a lot about this, but this is truly one of the most beautiful expressions of orris I've ever experienced. Orrisilla by Ibrahim Fuhaid. Beautiful stuff. Next we've got, oh yes, a favorite, Iris 39 by Labo. So this is a 50 ml. It is a 2006 release. It's an EDP and it goes for about $240. The nose behind this is Frank Vocal. This is iris, patchouli, violet, musk, civet, ylang ylang, ginger, lime, cardamom, and rose. Really love this iris. Highly unusual, highly unusual. The ginger and lime give it a zing, a little bit of an acidic zing. It's got an expressive rose in there. The ylang ylang is muted, so is the civet, so is the musk. The cardamom is there. It gives it almost a feel of like a soul, like a depth, you know, something deeper and more significant than the surface. It's got a soul. It's got another layer, a warmth to it, despite the ginger and lime giving it that that acidity, that brightness. Very complex fragrance. And I truly find this to be a unique iris. I don't hear a whole lot about it, and I'm surprised. I think Labo, you know, and I want to say this just in general. If you like a fragrance and the house has been acquired by a bigger conglomerate. It's okay. It's a fragrance. And, you know, if you feel very driven to, you know, make a statement with your purchases, I completely respect that. I truly do. And I am also, as I think you know if you've followed me at all, I am very interested in small indie brands, you know, true niche. I love that. That's definitely a first love. But sometimes brands like this, houses like this, knock it out of the park, and I'm going to say it when it happens. And I think this one indeed knocked it out of the park. Really unusual, and I enjoy it very much. It's got almost a classic, if I didn't know better, I'd say there was something of, well, maybe the rose is indolic in here. It's way mature for a rose. But if I didn't know better, I'd say it was an indolic jasmine happening in there. But gorgeous stuff. It is Iris 39 by Labo. All right, moving on, we've got Incarnata by Anatole Lebreton. All right, beautiful stuff. This is an EDP. It is a 50 ml. I think I paid about $200 for this, and it's a 2015 release. So the notes in this are pretty unusual. Raspberry, violet, rhododendron, powdery notes, orris, rose, myrrh, suede, amber, benzoin, and vanilla. I get ambrette in there too. I don't know. I definitely detect it. It could be a result of that suede, the musk, sometimes coming from the hide, the animal hide. That's possibly it. Rhododendron, I mean, beats the heck out of me. This is my first experience with rhododendron in a fragrance, or my only experience of rhododendron in a fragrance. I've had this for a while. I love it. But this to me is not as raspberry forward as the Abel Pink Iris. In fact, I really can't detect it at all. It's very powdery. It's very suede. I get the anchoring vanillic feel from the benzoin and vanilla. It's heavy. I think the orris is made heavier, and characteristically so, by the amber and benzoin. Because orris, I expect it to be heavy. It just kind of adds nuance to it. It's more than just that powdery note. It's got a little bit of, you know, I believe that amber is more of a fantasy note. I don't know that amber in its true form actually has a fragrance, but what we've come to know as amber as a fragrance, I think, is very much present in here. And so it's, you know, a unique presentation as well, but very unisex leaning masculine. I think, you know, just a wonderful offering. Oh, actually, I just realized I paid $128 for this, so sorry about that. But gorgeous stuff. Have you tried it? Incarnata by Anatole Lebreton. You may have noticed at this point there are some I did not mention. They are fabulous, big, amazing iris fragrances. One in particular, I guess I should grab it. What do you say? You want to take a stroll on back here to the... All right, let's grab it. All right, here we go, friends. I wasn't going to, but I feel like it's not okay to have an iris video without Iris Cartagena. There we go. 502 by Bon Parfumeur. Now, this is, everyone talks about this. I hear a lot about it, and that's one reason why I probably wasn't moved to mention it, but it just doesn't seem right now that I'm in the video. Making of the video, it just feels like the right thing to do. Okay. Yeah, this is a stunner. It's got so much happening. It's a, boy. I don't have any of my notes on it prepared. It's got a deep wood, a little bit of a booze, a creamy sandalwood in there, and of course, it's iris. It's got a dark heaviness to it, a resinous feel, almost a little bit of incense maybe. And this is me just totally telling you what I'm feeling right here, right now. No notes. I usually come with, I have tons of notes, but this one I didn't. I just, because it was a last minute decision to add it. Definitely masculine leaning. There's a chocolatey patchouli in there. Very complex, smoky, dusty iris. One of the most unusual and beautiful presentations of iris that I've experienced, and this deserves every bit of the hype it gets. Absolutely stunning Iris Cartagena. So there it is. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I had to. There you go. All right, the last two. I'm glad you stuck around. The last two are the newest additions to my collection. In the iris category, I will go with the unusual one first. So this is Iris de Gris by L'Artisan Parfumeurs. The nose behind this is Quinton Beach. This is a 2022 release. It's 100 ml. It's an EDP, and it goes for $265. The notes in this are pretty straightforward. It's peas, yes, peas, green peas. Galbanum and iris. How about that? This is... Is it fairly named? Maybe. This is iris stalk and leaves, and it is a vegetal expression of iris. Imagine fresh green peas mashed up. There's almost a tomato vine, tomato leaf, but it's not as strong. Okay, so it's that very tart green, but not as tart as a tomato leaf. It's got it's so unusual. Oh my gosh. It's overpowering at first, okay? Very high energy, green, and then it settles into its own softness. Calm, soft, life, like in a meadow. Faint hint of iris in the form of wildflowers, but powdery. And they're new, and there's a little water somewhere, maybe the freshness of a stream or a pond, a glacial pond up in the mountains. Something like that. Very unusual, very vibrant green, high energy, but still an iris just in its most youthful form. Very, very unusual. I've never smelled an iris like this. A vegetal iris, it's Iris de Gris by L'Artisan Parfumeurs. Very interesting stuff. I love it. Okay, last but certainly not least is the fragrance I said I would not get. I would not buy. And I didn't. It was a gift. And the reason I said I wouldn't buy it was because I did think it was too expensive for the presentation of the scent, not the presentation of the packaging. The packaging is exquisite, some of the best I've ever experienced, both in the packaging itself and the bottle. It is absolutely stunning. So this is Iris Root by Loewe. And this was suggested to me not too long ago, and I tried it, and I just instantly fell in love. The nose behind this, by the way, is Nuria Crueus, and this is 100 ml. It's an EDP, and it is a 2025 release, and it goes for just under $500. It's $485. The notes in this are Timur, Angelica, Orris Root, and Iris. It's linear, and I thought it's too linear to justify the price, but it's also perfect in its simplicity. It's not afraid to be singular. It's just a no window dressing needed fragrance. It's very serious, and it takes all of the fluff away. And I think in today's perfumery, that's unusual. It's stunning. It's straight down the line, unisex, maybe even, if I had to pick, a little bit masculine. Perfect powdery iris, and just a hint at its root, right? That slightly vegetal, but it's not a traditional orris. And it's not vegetal like this. It's linear, it makes perfect sense, and yet you've never smelled anything quite like it. Not exactly. And I think it's just spectacular in its simplicity. The glass, I want you to notice, it is hand blown glass, and it has the little bubbles. It looks like each one is probably unique. It's imperfect. It's got, you know, little indentations, and then the top, I don't know if this is stone, but it sure does feel like a piece of granite. Gorgeous granite. And of course the magnetic top, there's some metal inside. And very pleasing to touch. So just, I really do appreciate, you know, especially at this price point, a gorgeous presentation, and this absolutely is. And the packaging, I should have saved it and shared with you, is unbelievable. It's just first class, absolutely, which it should be for this price point. But I'm very impressed, and the fragrance is just an incredible gift. I'm so grateful, and I have to say I highly recommend it. It is expensive, so definitely not for everyone, but and that makes perfect sense. I think there are other fragrances that would scratch the itch. If I had to select among mine, I would say no. No. I would have a hard time. Yeah. I don't know. I want to say there's something that would scratch the itch, but I'm going to have to get back to you on it. Maybe this, maybe it's definitely not the same, but it's more kind of purist, moving in that direction, but it's not the same. So if I had to choose among those that I've talked about tonight, it would be Incarnata would be the closest, I suppose, but it's not the same. So let me know what you think of the lineup. And there are others in my collection. These are the ones that, you know, jumped out at me and didn't jump out at me until I was into the video. I hope you like them. They are some of my favorites, but I think in the next video, if you all give me some feedback about having a series of purple flowers, I could go into maybe some others from here. Just let me know in the comments. And hey, if you aren't yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.